Hello everyone, and I'm very glad to see you back on my channel. So we've learned a lot so far, and there are just like two videos left, this one and the next one. And today we were actually learning composition and interception. As a recap, we've been talking extensively about profile view controller, logout view controller, and initial view controller. And let's recap how that's seen in the app itself. So yeah, we have our profile screen. Tapping on logout would go to the logout view controller. Tapping on yes would simulate the logout and then show profile. Initial screen where we can tap on show profile and get back to our profile screen. So we've seen a lot of caveats there on how to do things incorrectly and correctly, what kind of problems might arise whenever we do things certain way. But the most interesting and the most important part was composition root. So composition root actually takes place or like starts at the entry point of our app or whatever application you are writing. So scene delegate in iOS or app delegate in iOS are actually entry point of our app where entire object graph instantiation should happen. Because if, let's say, profile view controller asks for avatar image loader, but initial view controller also creates a profile view controller, so we basically need to instantiate everything as a and we have to inject everything via constructor injection wherever possible. So since each object would defer injection via constructor, so someone should do it, and the place is scene delegate or app delegate in iOS, and it could be any entry point in any application you're writing. Mostly it's like main method or like main function in your app. So scene delegate is actually an entry point for iOS app in this case. So we were having a strong reference to the navigation controller, and then we would set it as a root view controller, and then we would start our profile view controller, and then we would spin around the navigation as we've seen in the example. So composition should always be in a composition root. Very simple. And you already know what is composition root. Whenever every entire object graph is the place where entire object graph is instantiated and the application flow starts. So start profile VC actually starts the application flow. That's why it happens at in the composition root. But there is one more point that we need to address that we haven't yet addressed. So this one is the interception. So by interception, I mean that since composition root already knows about everything and can piece and can link screens to screens very easily, it can also intercept calls to methods or to services. And let's see it with an example. So in a profile view controller, I've put some logic inside of the show logout view selector. So whenever we tap on a button, it would use a logger to log something. There's nothing wrong with logging, but we will see in a minute how we can remove all of this and keep just show logout VC as a closure inside of our view controller. So show logout view would log that we selected show logout view, and then it would grab number of times we tapped on a button. So it would also log how many times we tapped on a button, and then it would increment the number and perform a side effect by saving the number back to the user defaults. It's a pretty simple example, but like, let's see how can we get rid of all of this code from view controller so that view controller doesn't even have knowledge that there is a logging or something has been saved to user defaults or like whatever has been done. As you can see in the console, selected logout, show logout view has been printed to the screen, and the number of times logout seen is 3. Yeah, I've played around a little bit with it. So the requirement is right now to get rid of all of this and put it somewhere. But like, if view controller doesn't have a knowledge about this, so who should know it? And the answer is composition root, right? So in the scene delegate, we are injecting a show logout VC, which is a closure, void to void, as a start logout VC. However, we can do a trick by just grabbing the closure, performing all of the side effects, and then performing navigation, as we've seen. So let's run the app and see if we get the same value. Yeah, I've run the app, and let's try to tap on logout and see. Boom. Yeah, it actually still does logging. And tapping on logout again, it would increment the number and save back to the user defaults, which is great, right? But what am I actually doing here? By interception, I mean that call to the closure is actually intercepted in the composition. So as you can see, we are doing logout VC, starting the logout VC actually, and then saving things to the user defaults or logging stuff. As you can see, log just accepts string to void, right? But this one is void to void. And because logout VC is a closure, or in other words, it's a polymorphic interface, we can chain stuff and use this as a hamburger, let's say. So like this is the bun, and this is the this is meat, and this is the bun again on the bottom. So this way you can chain things, and you can eliminate cross-cutting concerns out of your view controllers, or like view models, whatever, presenters, services, repositories, managers, doesn't matter. And by cross-cutting concern, I mean that the things that would invade your entire code base. So cross-cutting concerns are logging, threading, performing some side effects, error handling, analytics. Analytics would get pervasive in your entire code base if you don't take care of it. And this is how you can take care of it, by just injecting side effects along with the method invocation itself. Even though we are doing this in form of a closure, we can actually do it in form of a protocol, right? So in the form of a protocol, we would actually get inclined to using a design pattern such as a decorator. So a decorator would just inject a side effect and conform to the same protocol. I wouldn't show it and leave it as an exercise to you. So I believe we are wrapping up the DI playlist, and there is very little left for me to cover for you. But I guess this would be it for this video. And remember that instantiation of the entire object graph, or in other words, composition, should be done in the composition root. And interception actually helps you to inject side effects or eliminate cross-cutting concerns in your components. And by cross-cutting concerns, I again mean analytics, logging, threading, error handling, or like performing some side effects that match the signature of your method. So this is a very quick video, but thanks again a lot for watching.